So does that mean there's going to be like loads of silence because we're just not seeing anything once it connects?
Hit the go live button, Si. Hit the go live button. Is that it? Is that it?
That's
Are
it.
we in? Are we in?
We're in.
Oh. Eh? Look at that. I can see my big face on my big TV.
You know what's unusual is that we, we're both on. There's no. Normally, there's only one of us on the screen, isn't there?
I did wonder how that was going to run. So,
Yeah.
hello. It's probably best that I can see my big face mute. Big TV. I've got to mute myself somewhere.
You know what's unusual is that we're both on. There's no. Normally, there's only one of us on the screen, isn't
I did wonder how that was going to run. Oh, how are you? So, hello. It's probably.
Come on, you're the techie guy.
I know. What I've just realised is. What I've just realised is I'm playing it on my TV and I'm playing it on my PC. It's coming from everywhere. Oh, disaster. Right. Hello. You're watching live Loose Gadgies and the chaos that is YouTube Live and me not practicing it over the weekend. That's what happened. That's what happened right there. So today we're gonna go over how far we've come. 14 episodes and a live stream. That means 14 topics. I heard from one of my friends. She eventually had a listen. She went, "Do you know what? It's like listening to the Night Owls." So, "Ooh, there's a compliment. There's a compliment. I hope you mean the Flash and Blade kind, not the one with James Whale back in the day, because that was a bit risque." But anyway, so it's either like being down the pub or listening to Night Owls. Either one's a compliment, I think. So, Mark, what is the crack?
The crack is, well, I've got a cracked lip, as you can see. So I
Ooh.
think I'm a bit run down, Simon. I'm a bit run down. So, and of course, it's my son's wedding in 2 days, and I've got this
Who
flipping
you been
thing on my
kissing?
lip.
Who you been
Well,
kissing? Eh? Been kissing
you
all
know,
the girls?
you know the remedy. You know the remedy.
Eh?
So
What's that?
I've been putting this on my lip, but I've also been putting it on my arsehole. You know why I've been putting it on my arsehole? Because it keeps away the chaps.
Jesus. Jesus. Well, except for the chaps you've been wearing, that is.
Yeah, I was like,
You know, them
oh,
cowboy style.
yeah. Before the episode, I was like, oh God, you can see that, and I thought I might as well create a joke out of it. So there it was.
Own it.
Own it. Yeah, which is
Aye,
what we
own
do.
it.
It's what we do with our subjects, don't we? We own them.
That's very true. I think every time we've had a... Just open the curtains. Get a bit of light in. Open the curtains. You always get the curtains closed. That's my mum. That's your mum. Open the curtains. No, we do. I think every time we've had a... Might be interesting to go back to the original stream, because, I mean, we looked at all of our weird habits and our mannerisms and... I don't know, scratching this and touching that and... Aye. And then, of course, I guess we've had some personal growth in between. Although you're still adamant that I need to be more positive, obviously,
Yeah, I,
and say
I will.
thanks more often.
I will find a rose in a bucket of shit. You know, I'll find it. I'll look for it.
Well, plenty of nitrates in there.
Yeah.
They're going, oh,
Yeah.
you look at that.
Oh,
Look at
I
that.
tell you what, it looks
Look at
fantastic, and I've ordered,
Ooh, my
and
worky ticket.
I've ordered, as we like to call it in our house, the Roy Cropper bag.
The Roycroft. I always call it a man bag. It's one of them man bags, isn't it? Roycroft.
Yeah.
What's the Roycroft bag?
Well, so Roy Kropp has a Coronation Street character, and he always walks about with this like bag under his, it's like a man bag, but so.
Right.
And I got a couple from the bus company that I was working for, and then when I seen you put them on the website, I was straight in. So I'm keeping it for best. So
Keep it for best.
Keeping it for best. Yeah.
My mum's chuffed with hers.
Yeah.
Because I said, do you want a t-shirt? No. Can I have one of them bags? One of them bags. Which can I have the worky ticket? Can I have the worky ticket bag? I said, aye. My dad's like, ooh. Can I have an XL? Keep it for best. I said, yeah. Yeah. My brother, younger brother, I'm proper mucky. Proper hacky, sorry. I'm proper hacky. I was like, yeah, well, should probably get one of them for myself. Actually, come to think of it. So he was chuffed. So, over 70 quid later, it was free shipping weekend that weekend. Apparently it's is it once a month or every couple of weeks they have this free shipping weekend.
Oh,
Just
right.
happened to hit. They say, oh, if you do it before midnight tonight, it's still going. So I went, right, I'll go have a look. So that 70 odd quid was just on the gear, not on the shipping. So God knows what it would have been. So I got his other half, and I'm a worky ticket T-shirt as well. So I've kitted out the family. We've all got one.
So, you were sort of reflecting there. So, what was the date of our first episode? I couldn't remember. If it was December or January.
December 30th.
Yeah.
December 30th.
So since basically within what are we now? Just the beginning of April. So in 3 months, we've produced 14 episodes, gone live, and selling merchandise. That's something to be proud of, isn't it?
When you put it like that. I hadn't thought of it that way. I'd just been doing stuff. We need to do this next. We should do this next. Have a look at this.
And which formats are we on that you've got us on now? Which formats are we on?
We're on YouTube at the minute, but this podcasting app allows us to go on Facebook and a few others, and it'll simultaneously cast across them all. So we could whack it on Facebook at some point as well, and then it'll pop up on the Facebook page direct, and then so anybody who's I thought about doing that first, but you know what, this one might be simpler. Turns out they're all just as finicky. Copy paste, all of these, copy paste, put this in, click on this, but it's done. I even had to wait 24 hours. I've never done live stream. I clicked on the live stream page and YouTube went, oh right, you're in a queue. We'll let you know in a day whether you're allowed to live stream or not. I was like, damn it. In a day? So, fortunately, I was curious enough to click that last week so that it's it's active in time for this week. Because if I just sort of went, I'll check it on Tuesday.
So, just talking about this live episode, you're the... Actually, let's be clear on this. On what we're doing with regards to the podcast, you are the optimist. I am the pessimist.
Do you know that I have been mulling that over for weeks and weeks? That I do the posts, then I log out of Loose Gadgies, log in as me. I go in and like the posts. I share the posts. I then go onto the other platform, put it on Twitter. I then go on to I've got the Loose Gadgies account, right? But then I manage 2 other accounts. One for Whitley Bay supporters, another one for the company that I work for. So I'll post it on Twitter, then I'll go on to these 3 other accounts, click like, maybe just do a retweet. Then I've done the same on Facebook. I then go and watch on YouTube, but I've also got another personal account that I used for some old, when I used to do me daft posts on the internet, all of that stuff. So I've got these 2 YouTube. I'll go on there, watch it on both, click like on both. So I'm doing all of these things, and then I'm making T-shirts. All of this. I know you were saying I'm concerned maybe about the amount of time you might be spending on this. I'm enjoying it. And I think people need to know about it. So why not?
Yeah.
And
So
these
where
things don't happen on their own. As much as people on YouTube seem to, oh, I got 5,000 subscribers in a month. No, you didn't. Shut your face.
Where you putting the
These
brush?
things- Huh? What?
Where you putting the brush? You know, when you've got time. Where you putting the brush?
Do you mean the brush?
You know, because you got need time. So you know, you got where you shoving the brush. You know, just you know, you ain't got time to do anything.
What do you mean I brush? You mean like a stick up my ass?
Yeah, yeah.
That analogy doesn't work. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Is that
It's
me?
like it's like when somebody at work used to say, "Can you do this and this and this?" And somebody used to go, "Where do you want me to shove the brush?" Up my ass.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that. You get
No?
spelks. You get spelks anyway.
Spelks.
I've got a spelk. I've got a spelk in my finger.
Yeah.
Christ.
What was it?
This-
What it would be called in the rest of the country? It'd be called a splinter. Splinter.
A splinter. It's a spelk though. It's clearly
Yeah,
a
it's a
spelk. It's the
Yeah.
correct word. Splinter. Splinter can be many things, especially if you watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You watch
Great
that.
tell.
Splinter.
No.
It's one of the. He's the bad guy.
Oh right.
He's a bad guy. Yeah, I've watched both movies.
Mm.
Quite entertaining.
So, I was sort of looking at the first episode where
Yeah.
we were one of the bits was about pushing you to sort of name veg you were going to have on your plate.
Yeah. Do you know that still gets views? I think it's over a hundred and I don't know. Was it 130 odd last time I looked at it? It still gets them, and I'm like, it's not my favorite episode because we were still a bit new, and we were putting a new segment in, and I had me little transitions and stuff going on. Tell you what, I'm glad we didn't do that because if I had to put those little swooshes and transitions in every week, I'd be doing me nothing. It already takes me an absolute age to swap who's on camera and level out the audio so we're both, almost at the same sort of all of that faff. And then put
Yeah.
the start and end intro, outros, and that it would drive me nuts. Absolutely nuts. You got any
What about
favourite
you?
bits? Got any
Yeah, go on.
favourite bits from the last 14?
I mean, obviously, in the early when we started off, I enjoyed the quick fire questions because I was doing them, but it was one of those things where, it was a good idea, but it just didn't quite work out.
Yeah, that's probably more down to me than than the feature being a bad feature. It's more that I'm probably a bad brain to do that feature with.
The bits I enjoy the most is watching it back and watching where you said something where I sort of lose control on my laughter. That they're just hilarious for me.
Yeah,
And
I don't know I'm going to do them.
There's been a couple of them. What was the famous one that I reminded you about?
What's that? The 4 cans and a dog. That one's
That's
from
it.
the
Yeah, from the pandemic.
sum up lockdown. Oh, it was 4
Yeah.
cans and a dog, wasn't it? Everybody wanted a drink. Get a dog. Drink. Going for a walk. Go for a walk. I need an excuse. Walk the dog. 4 cans and a
Yeah.
dog. Why not get a bottle of dog? Yeah, look. I'm sure. Look, as I'm getting older, there's more ginger in me hair. Look at that. It's not going grey. It's
right.
going red. It's not like it needs shaving off. Look at that.
Yeah.
Got myself a little island.
Have you?
Yeah. Madeira.
Yeah.
Or perhaps the Bahamas. Or Bermuda. Get myself a little triangle there. And planes can go missing. Much like some of, the jokes. That's where they go missing. Over me Bermuda Triangle above my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yes, optimist, pessimist.
That's it.
Went off on a tangent there.
Yeah.
Yes, that you went, well, they're going to be popular, is it? And I'm like, well, you don't know. Yes, it's the one thing I'm surprised about, right? Is this is very much the other way around in real life on other things. You're very much, come on, we can do it.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Can you stop being so nice about it? Can you just say something? Nah. No, we're doing it. Go team. And on this, you're like, nah. And I'm like, come on. Click this. Share that. Do this. Oh, we're going to do this next week. What about this? You're like, nah.
It's
Nah.
when you get into psychology of it, maybe deep inside me, there's this bit that really wants to succeed on this, but would be highly disappointed if it didn't become famous. So you sort of tone it down, where you are like, there's nothing getting in my way.
Yeah, because I know how hard it is to make something of these things. I've watched. I don't watch terrestrial telly anymore. I pretty much only watch YouTube, and I stream some of the things from the States, some of my favourite shows, like Grey's Anatomy and this and that, a few other bits. So I'll stream those, and occasionally watch a bit of talk TV, although less than I used to, because it's just, well, you know how we feel about the news, and it just doesn't get any better, does it? And some of the commentaries just, that's not the way. No, and at times I've just swore at the screen and went, nah, I'm watching something else, because I didn't agree with some rubbish that some politician was saying. Anyway, so now I pretty much watch YouTube, and been watching horseshoeing videos, somebody fixing a cow's hoof.
I've seen that one.
Do you know, I was in two minds about mentioning the word hoof, because I thought, I know where this is going to go. I'm just going to see your face. Anyway, so I've been watching that. Then I've been watching, I don't play games, but I found myself watching loads of gaming streams of people just playing on stuff. Then I've bought a couple of games. I've ended up playing them. So last night, I lost track of time because I was playing Transport Fever 2. And it's pretty much a big train set. So, but you have to transport cargo around places and build cities. So you can imagine the logistics and the way my head works, and plan out best route, optimal routes, creating distribution centres. Sun came up. So what time is it? Oh, it's 6:30. I haven't been to bed. I need some. Oh, I've got the live stream. I think it got to summer by the time I sorted myself out. It was nearly 7 o'clock, and I was like, and I get my head down, set the alarm.
Yeah.
12 o'clock. Got up 11.
Is that what you
Ran
did?
round in a panic. Aye. So I need to sort this. I need to get some jokes in. Mark will have some jokes. I need to get some jokes in. What's that about? So yeah. So is it just a fear of failure then?
Yeah, to a point there is, and I think lack of understanding about what happens in this sort of technical world, which you know really well. So the fact that you don't understand something, you fear it, then you sort of retract back from it. But deep down, there's this time next year, Rodney, who knows?
Do you know what I will say is that the hardest part of this is getting people to watch it. The easiest part is keeping them watching it. 'Cause all the feedback I've had is good. It's, I didn't know that. I would never have phrased it that way, or I like the way you phrased that, or that helped me understand this bit. So we're putting pictures in people's heads and allowing them to bring together concepts they weren't sure about, or nailing something for them. Going, that's it. So many have had that same sort of feedback that it took them a while to, I'll have a look at it. And when they eventually do, I've watched every one. I watched them all. I went back and watched the other ones. So the trick, it seems, is that our content is fun, enlightening. It's easy listening. Something to put on in the background or when you're off for a walk, that kind of thing. And it's got plenty of takeaways.
The
It's getting people to watch it
in now today. What were you hoping in terms of opening up live, and what would be a good result today?
I think look, live is a big thing on YouTube, almost like it's replacing TV, and I can see some of that because TV's miserable, it's rubbish. You don't get any say over it. This way, if you look at my own profile, at any one time there's 5 or 6 live streams going on that I've found that I enjoy, whether that's Big Jet TV, Jerry, he's a fun bloke. He's great to watch. You should see him. I mean, Heathrow now is...
Can you clarify this about aeroplanes? Yes. Good.
The wind down south at the minute, it's absolutely blowing a gale, and he's recording these planes coming. It's in a morbid way, it's fascinating. Going, you land on one wheel, and you're like, you're sort of curious about half expecting a crash or something, but then you're also impressed at how they've managed to land that and they've come in sideways. So there's tons of live TV, and like I said, I haven't switched on my Freeview box in, I don't know, months, and I haven't missed it. I haven't missed it because it's mostly, I don't know what, Strictly Come Dancing these days and Love Island, and
So
it's mostly reality type stuff, and it doesn't click
Yeah.
with me at all.
And that's producing a live content, but I think one of the purposes of this is we don't interact with people during the episodes. This is an opportunity to interact.
It is. It is. There's a chat window though. There's no there's no chat messages in it at the minute. There are 5 viewers, so there's people watching, but there's no chat. Might be because I put the subscriber only chat on. I was just afraid of watch as many live streams as I do. There's tons of spammers out there and
What's the
bots.
worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen?
Aye, well, it's just tons of bots. I've seen how many are on. I'm like, I don't want to spend half the stream while you're chatting. I'm sat here deleting all these chat messages and kicking out all these bots. I just thought, I'll put it on. Shall I leave the subscriber only thing on?
What happens if you don't delete them? Ooh, that's a tough question, isn't it?
I don't know. I guess it just gets untidy, and some of it's if you watch some of the American live streams, or some of it gets kind of nasty, where people will just jump in and decide to troll your channel, and just it's not pleasant.
I think that they must have big audiences to the I've seen I've seen some of the boxing stuff, and you can't they're scrolling so fast you can't even read them.
Yeah, this is why you put slow mode on, so you can only type every 10, 20 or 30 seconds, whatever it is. But the airline videos live at LAX, he's got 500,000 subscribers, and at any one time there's between 3,000 and 5,000 people watching. People come in and out all the time, but on average it's between like 3,000 and 5,000, and he gets spammed. He's got 3-4 moderators on there constantly, keeping the chat sort of clean from, I don't know, bell ends.
So if anybody's listening live, just say hi on the chat and we'll give you a shout out. It'd be nice to know that we're reaching somebody.
Aye, I could try and turn off the old. Mind you, I click on this and some breaks. Yeah, because I could turn off the subscriber chat.
While you're sort of doing that,
Anyway.
other episodes that are really habits is a great one of mine. Understanding how I create my own habits, good, bad, and indifferent, and how you can sort of stack them. I really enjoyed that.
Popular on Spotify. That one. Yeah, it was a popular one on there, and it's quite a popular one on YouTube. Can't think of, but yeah, it proved to be a good one.
Because one of the other fantastic things was when a few episodes ago we did the dad jokes one, which totally blew me away when you sort of ripped those jokes out, and some of them did really well, and some of them didn't, and it just blew my mind. So how
I didn't know. I honestly thought, oh, this'll be a bit, and that'll be it. Do you know, I was wrong about most of it. There was a couple of little daft ones in there. Why is that doing well? It's just a joke about this. It's not controversial. It's just literally a dad joke, and yet I'm sat there going, it's just finished on 1,700 views. How did that happen? It's not even. And then of course you have these other, like the one you did with the iffy accent. Now that. Nout. Nout's going on.
Was that the deodorant one?
Aye, the ball aerosol one, yeah. Now it happened. However, how do you know the sex of an ant?
Yeah.
The boy ant, right? That. It's still getting a few, but it went over 5,000. on its own.
Michael reckons that it's purely because it's got a gender representative in it.
That's what I thought, which is deliberately why I named it the way I named it. Thinking, well, I'll chuck it in there and see what happens. But then also you have to have good SEO as well. So your description and your title have to match. And it's whatever happens to be trending, because it took a day. It didn't out on its first day, and then for another 3 days after that, it just went. There was always somebody viewing it. It was just bonkers.
Shall we rename our podcast Loose Genders then? Means you'll have to change all the merchandise, like, but never mind.
Aye.
This time next year, Rodney. Loose Gadgies, who are not Gadgies, who are not really sure whether they're Gadgies or not Gadgies. Yeah.
Gadge thems.
So Gadge sounds like gash, you know.
Gadge. Loose Gadge days. Does that work?
There's an advert on the radio at the moment, and I think it's about cakes, and the woman actually talks about why do most people have an issue with the word moist?
Yeah.
And it's actually on the radio at the minute, and as soon as it came up, I thought about you, and it's like, yeah, why do a lot of
You know, that's one of the reasons it's my favourite word, is because
Yeah.
it bugs so many people. And it has such a weird reaction. I mean, I love sounds and words, and I'm you know how fussy I am about that kind of stuff, and I just like the sound of it. I think it's funny. Peas, goose. I've learned the word goose in a few languages for no other reason than I just think it's a funny sounding word. But moist does it make some people visibly wince. Some people I've worked with, they're like, it just makes them, go, eh. So just don't combine it with any other words, like gusset. So what did I do? I went, what's wrong with moist gusset? And she went, yeah. Oh, I'm going to get a coffee. I'm going to get a coffee shop and walk away. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. I've got you. So next time I want you to go away.
I had to explain the second word that you mentioned there in our house.
It's the bit that protects the smelly bridge, isn't it?
It's just like, yeah, I'm not saying who, because that, I get it wrong, but we had to explain the word. Yeah.
Well, I suppose, there's a first time for everything, and it's not a word that gets thrown about these days, I suppose, is it?
Yeah. I've got it. I know we're on about reflection episodes. I've got to tell you about me incident yesterday with so I'm doing a bit of tour guiding in North Wales just to
Yes.
and I really enjoy it. It's a shitty day yesterday weather-wise, but we do a little competition. And at the end of the day, we sort of agree a winner. So I was looking in my mirror trying to get who won, and this American woman popped up, and she was like, "Well, I saw 200 sheep, when we passed them, because you have to spot black sheep." And I was like, I said, well, I'm not going to disagree. I've learned over many years that the easiest two words to say to women are, and she went, "Yes, ma'am," and I went, well, okay. That wasn't what I was thinking of, but yeah, I remember a very famous person who used to say that. Do you remember who the first famous person was that used to say that? Yes, ma'am. So,
Nah.
Elvis used to say yes, ma'am to everybody. Elvis Presley, right?
Yeah.
This woman then popped up and said, "I'm a sixth cousin of Elvis Presley," and I was like, "What?" She was like, and I went, 16th of August, 1977. And she was like, "Yeah, you know your stuff, don't you?" And I went, "Yeah, and I know that he never actually visited the UK." She went, "Yes, but he landed here, didn't he?" And I was like, "You are?" I said, "Where are you from?" She went, "Memphis, obviously." And I was like, "No." And anyway, we had this conversation. And so at the end of it, her husband gave me what? And I've never had one in my life. A 50 quid note.
Wow.
You give me a 50 quid
note?
Wow. Yeah, I've never had one.
Wow. Yet, living in Germany, you had to carry them around all the time.
Oh yeah.
A 20 quid over there was much like a tenner over here. You know what I mean? I used to draw out 50s just to, do stuff because everything was so. Oh, look, Michael's in the chat.
Is that Michael?
It is.
Oh, that's bizarre because we've just mentioned him, haven't we? Yeah.
He's in.
So anyway, this American guy, he said to me, he said, Mark, I've tried to spend this twice on my holiday. He said I couldn't spend it. I hope you have more success than I will, and he gave me the 50. Yeah. So
Well, to be fair, it is weird to walk into a shop with a 50. I
it
mean,
is.
I remember going into, like Kaufland and Rewe and wanting to hand over a 50 because I just spent, 40 quid on two things. Like a loaf of bread and a bottle of milk. Just to get, you try and break a 50.
Well,
I hate it when I've got a 20 in my wallet because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to break that. I'm going to have to spend that somewhere.
I've been keeping me tips, and not the 340 in Nottingham that I get off most people, but yeah. Let's just say I won't mention any cultures on this, but certain areas of the world give you the 340 at Nottingham, nothing, and so I'm keeping my tips. But Robin did tell me that Morrison's do take a 50. What's he say?
You just said you're keeping your tips. Michael says, hold it up to the light. I was like, yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah. It's up in the bedroom, going to collect dust. Yeah.
Dust.
High in fat, low in fat. Dust.
I was thinking, where's he getting that from? Was that Little Britain or something? Or?
Oh, we were away in the caravan at the weekend, and in front of her there was how shall I describe them? A lesbian couple, but one of them was rather tundra, and she kept wearing these spandex shorts and a tank top, and I named her Mafanwe.
Mafanwe. Oh, like his character on. Yeah.
Well, he's David.
Right, yeah.
He's David, but
he's David.
The girl, David, that's it. But the girl who works in the pub, who's off Gavin and Stacey, the famous writer, she's called Mafanwe, and so I named her so me and Anita were in the caravan, and of course we did, me, people watching. I just flip and sit there staring, and I'll go, look, Mafanwe is coming out. And it is, and Mafanwe is out.
How is the caravan? After all that thinking I inspired you into, and then eventually purchasing.
Anita said something to me. I went there, and when you're there, there's very little you can do. So she said, "I've never seen you relaxed like that for ages."
Really?
Yeah, I was just switched off. People watching, going for a walk, reading a bit of a book, and it was. So I got there Thursday, and I left Monday. So, but I do know because I was caught Michael. So it's Sunkran Michael, isn't it? In Little Thailand. So I guess him and his better half are away at the moment.
Well, he's called it your mobile mansion pulled along by the supercharged global resource consumer.
My old man's Volvo, as he liked to call it, or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? It's like strawberries and cream in a caravan, Volvo.
Yeah.
As soon as I told my dad, oh, he's just bought a caravan. Changed his car though, he got himself a Volvo, and he went, I just got this look of approval from my dad. He's like, I'll have no bother with that. I was like, well, he's looked into how much tonnage he needs to, So, got my dad's seal of approval.
Yeah.
And your research and your eventual purchase.
Oh, it wasn't because it was his first trip out. It wasn't without a couple of little tests, like there's a certain way you've got to attach the bits for certain bits to work after a 2007 model. So it was a bit.
So many innuendos there. So many.
My pump wasn't working very well that weekend. And I had a dribbly faucet. I had a dribbly faucet, which I had to fix eventually because it was creating such a mess, such a mess. And
it is Songyan, Thai New
Sun,
Year, and Water Festival.
that's it.
Everything is very moist.
Sun
Lovely.
Yeah, yeah. I remember those. I remember those times well. It's great getaway. It's a great couple of days, and fond memories. You know, getting moist with the locals.
I just said lovely use of moist there. Not that I require an excuse.
Yeah.
Feel free.
As Michael would tell us,
Be moist.
does it signify at the end of the rainy season and the start of the sort of the dry season, or is it the other way around? Yeah.
Aye, because they generally have monsoon seasons and whatnot over there, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know they call hurricanes typhoons over there? I don't know,
Typhoons.
typhoons. I was like, what's the difference between typhoon and hurricane? There isn't one.
Is it like a type of tea bag?
It's the name. It's the name. Aye, typhoon. Imagine that. Yeah, we'll call them PG tips in the West. That's the other way around. Michael says. It's the other way around.
On the bus yesterday, I had some Germans. Of course, I did embarrass myself by trying to speak German. And as they were, they'd been away for a bit of a walk. These two girls, and they came back, and I said, "Oh, did you get anything?" And she went, "Yeah, we got some wings." And I thought she said wings, and I thought she meant chicken's wings. And then 10 minutes later, I said, "Oh, how was your chicken's wings?" And she went, "No, I said rings. We got some rings."
Nice.
So yes, her chicken, and she then proceeded to tell me, "We're not meat eaters," and I was like, I beg to differ.
Michael says it's the end of the heat and welcome rain. Heat is still 32 degrees and
Yeah.
just a lot more. It was the humidity that used to get me out there, It's like chewing the air before you could breathe it in. Oh, did nout for me asthma, that. Nout.
Well, I mean, Michael will be pleased to know it's bloody weather's reversed this week. It's like gone close to minus again. It's never stopped raining, has it?
It was lovely yesterday. My
Yeah.
older brother down south says, it's howling. It's howling. I'm looking out the window. I'm like, it's an awesome day. I could probably go out and adjust my hoodie and that. And then by the end of the day, grey, rain, wind overnight. Both indoors and outdoors. Meh.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Was that tin of beans?
You want to cut down on them onion barges you've been having?
Onion barges. Nah, it was the beans I had with my sausage rolls. I had 2 of them.
Yeah. Well,
I tried these McCain, what you call them? These
crispy pancake.
No, the oh, but I haven't had them in years. No, these chunky chips that are part cooked in beef dripping or something, and they're like oven chips. You just hoy them in.
Yeah.
That air fryer, tell you what,
That's an investment, that, isn't it?
it knocks about 5-10 minutes off most things. Especially
Yeah.
when you're making a sausage sandwich. I sometimes wouldn't make a sausage sandwich, and I'm like, well, that's half my day. If I want a sausage sandwich for breakfast, it's half my day gone, that, cooking a sausage. You whack them in there, 200, 7 minutes. Just shut the door off your pot. Sausage is done.
I'm going to buy a new version, and I'm going to do it in the style of, what do they call that, where they do that?
Charades or
Yeah.
charades.
Are you ready? I'm going to buy a new version, and it's like this.
What's that? Bruce Lee in a smoke?
Or, can you get it, Michael?
He's talking about Finder's crispy pancakes.
Now, I'm going to get a smoking ninja.
Smoking ninja.
You can get them.
What?
Get them for a caravan. It's an air fryer, but it's a smoke. It's called the Ninja make.
Oh yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah, so you can get one where you put little pellets in the side and it smokes the meat.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's
That's
a
heading
electric
towards
one.
the old.
Yeah,
It's heading towards sort of part barbecue.
yeah.
Walk
so
and roll, he says.
it's an air fryer, a barbecuer, a smoker, all of those sort of stuff. But they are 3.5.
Michael
terms of-
says your little charades moment was walk and roll.
Walk and roll, yeah. So is that a good opportunity to for some, at least we've got Michael on, and I could do I prepared some dad jokes.
Me too. I've got a few.
You
Got a
start.
few, but
Go on, let's do one
do
each.
you know what it is? I was supposed to pick out an episode so I could reflect in a structured way, and say, oh, well, actually, this was my favorite episode, and I liked this bit. And to be fair, I think I've just enjoyed sitting having the chat and enjoyed the feedback I've had and how we seem to genuinely help some people through some stuff
Yeah,
based on some of the messages and things that I've had through. And as Michael said at the very start, keep it real and raw, and we have.
yeah. What was it?
Yeah.
We were discussing
This
the other
unshaven
week,
face is how it go by.
me and Michael, about the Ukraine episode, and
Oh, yeah.
at that point Michael starts using big words like and it for me, and I sort of struggle with his vocabulary. So and it was to be fair, it was Sunkran. It was probably midnight for him, and I reckon he'd had 2 bottles of Chang.
Oh, I can still remember times in Germany, right? We'd go out to November.
Yeah,
He was quite good at getting me out of the house, strangely enough. And then we'd end up, the place would close. We'll go back to his flat, in that big apartment block. And chat in his kitchen. And obviously I didn't know I had autism at the time, right? But every 5 minutes, getting a hug and talk about something. I'd be sitting on the bench and it's, oh, just give us a hug. He'd be smashed.
yeah,
You imagine. And his photos of the next day, where he lines up his cans to spell words out and puts all the cigarettes on the floor.
brilliant.
Aye.
Yeah,
Aye. He's one
we
of the
had
few
some
people that's managed to get me to drink and
Yeah.
get drunk. Nobody else has.
Two of my vices that I used to give to him, I don't have anymore: peanuts and booze. I used to
Peanuts.
feed him full of booze and peanuts, and now I don't have them.
I do. I've got I cannot leave an open bag of peanuts. It actually takes willpower for me to walk away from some peanuts. I bloody love salted peanuts.
Oh, I do love them. That's why I don't eat them anymore.
Peanut butter as well. I've got some Sunpat in there, and I've got to restrict myself because it's if I put it on toast, trying to be restricted with it is just nah. So I'll only put this much on. And before I know it, I've either got my finger or the knife back in the thing, and so I'll just have this little bit, and I could sit and eat a jar of this stuff. It's dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous to have that around. Absolutely dangerous.
Michael mentioned there. Are you a crunchy or smooth?
Smooth.
Yeah.
Can't have any of that crunchy nonsense.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I agree. Michael mentioned there about Christmas jumpers, and I can't help it when I'm on the North Wales tour. I do the because there's 9 million sheep in Wales, if you didn't know, and I do the sheep and the kangaroo.
The sheep and the kangaroo?
Yeah, what do you get if you cross a sheep and a kangaroo?
No.
Woolly jumper.
Woolly jumper. Oh. Christ.
Yeah.
I have this memory of hearing that sometime in
Yeah.
high
Brilliant.
school or something.
Yeah. So Michael putting the word up there, Christmas jumpers, just moved me straight back into that joke. Sometimes I get these
Christmas
trigger words, and they remind me of jokes.
Mm.
So go on.
Oh, we did our first Oktoberfest ever in
That's it.
Bergedorf.
Woolly jumper.
I found some photos
Yeah.
of me in me odd combat jacket and Kat in a full Bavarian garb, the whole thing. And then there was a photo of me and you faffing around with the phone trying to take a selfie. And for some reason, I'd press record on the video instead of
With a Nokia 3310.
instead of taking a picture. I ended up recording a bit. And there's me and you with an X on there. I was like, wow, we were big lads. Big lads back in the day. We were big lads.
Yeah.
I had no idea how big until I went back through some of them old photos. I was like, Christ.
I know.
Come a long way. Come a long way.
That's it. It was...
Dindle.
Do your first joke.
What's a dindle? Michael's just said dindle in the chat.
Does he mean dongle? I don't know.
Dongle. Yeah, and socks found under your bed when we moved out.
When there was how shall I say, there was a mass debate about who they belonged to. There was 3 possibilities.
Yeah, it was me, Michael, or Brian. I'm going for Brian, mind.
It was a special sock.
I'm going for, given, the pick your nose episode we did, and the keyboard that no one else wanted to use. Aye. So I got fired from my job at the bank today. An old lady came in and asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over.
I like that.
Yeah, what you might. We take turns. Should we take turns?
Yeah. I'll go next. So, I was on the diabetes awareness website recently, and it said, "Do I accept cookies?" And I wasn't sure if it was a test.
Nah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Cosmetic surgery used to be such a taboo subject. Now you can talk about Botox and nobody raises an eyebrow.
Snap!
You got it. You got that one.
Got that one. Yeah. So
I wrote a book on reverse psychology. Don't read it.
Don't read it.
Don't read it. I had to slip that one in. That's what she said.
What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo?
Don't know.
One's really heavy, the other one's a little lighter.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. I like it. I tried to organise a professional hide and seek tournament, but it was a complete failure. Good players are hard to find. Nay. Double one of them.
I've been told that using beef stew as a password is not allowed. It's not stroganoff.
Yeah. Good one.
Good one, that one.
Like it. That is a good one. That's your best IT related joke.
Yes.
Ever.
What about me?
Easy.
Did we publish my my PDF file?
Yeah.
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 Nothing.
Yeah, it got out.
Yeah.
Was it 20 odd views, something like that? Yeah. Yeah, I thought it would be more controversial.
Yeah.
There's a dog and a cat sitting by the river, enjoying the sunshine. This turd goes floating by in waves. Come in! The water's lovely! And the cat turns to the dog and says, "Can you believe that shit?" Oh, that's one of my favourites from back in the day.
So I got done for stealing a leg of lamb from Morrison's recently. Security guard stopped me and he said, "What are you doing with that?" And I said, "Well, peas, potatoes, and a bit of gravy."
I like it. Yeah. Like it. Simple to the point.
Yeah.
Bit of a giggle.
Yeah.
Communist jokes aren't funny unless everybody gets them.
I
tell
you what I watched.
With the rise of China and that.
I watched the other night the movie. What's that puzzle called where you put the shapes and squares down at the bottom? What's it called?
Oh, you mean Tetris?
Tetris. I watched that movie. Yeah.
Tetris.
Yeah, the movie Tetris is just out. It's just come out. It's got that guy who played Elton John. But the bit I was going to point out was
he
was created by a Russian guy, and he couldn't earn any money from it.
There's a Russian state nicked it off him.
Yeah, and obviously as communism, it all had to be sort of blah blah blah. But it was a complex movie, but it was quite good. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Um,
you got properly stiffed by the
oh
government
yeah,
on that. Given everybody has played Tetris at some point, it's been on I don't know how many devices,
yeah,
and then how many different formats and how many different ways. PCs, phones, tablets. It's been on. It's been a mini game inside other games. It's
yeah. Well, I didn't
quite
realize
prolific.
that.
That and Worm.
The fight between Nintendo, who he worked for, Atari, and the Maxwell brothers, who were just at the end where he mysteriously disappeared, Robert Maxwell, with all of the pension fund. And that Maxwell was trying to get in on the deal because he was struggling for finances. So, but it's an interesting story. As Michael would say, no need to watch it now because Mark's just told you the whole plot.
Well, he's just said, watch The Whale if you haven't already.
Oh, I haven't. No, I need to watch that.
Well, he got an Oscar for it. There was a lot of controversy saying, well, should he have really played it because he's not really a big guy? Have you seen him? He's not small.
Oh,
He's
I
not
know.
small. And is that relevant? Like, somebody somewhere seems to miss the point that the point of acting is a good actor can play something that he isn't, or a
So-
good actress can play someone that she isn't, and can get themselves into character and can play a role that they aren't in real life, that they can suspend your disbelief and convince you that they are one of them, whatever it is they're playing.
Another
Right?
good
That's the whole
example
point
was
in acting, isn't it?
Tom Hanks did Colonel Tom Parker in the Elvis film. He had a prosthetic thing on. You know,
He was good in Sully Mind.
brilliant. I love that film.
Yeah, I just thought it was going to be boring. I thought, oh, look, there's no else. I'll watch this. Loved it.
Yeah. So here's another one.
Loved it.
My friend David lost his ID. Now I call him Dave.
What?
My
Say again?
friend.
So I was reading his chat.
Yeah. My friend David lost his ID. Now I call him Dave.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Barry Norman. I got sick of Barry Norman.
Yeah.
Because every time I watched him, I'd basically seen all of the good bits of the movie. And it was when I watched, you remember that movie, Death Becomes Her?
Yes. Bruce Willis.
Yeah, and they become immortal when they drink this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Whoopi Gold.
Oh, but I-
Whoopi, not Whoopi. Yeah.
It was,
so what was it called? Meryl
yeah,
Streep.
that and her from Private Benjamin. What you call her?
Yeah.
Her. You know what I mean?
The one that's got the Botox now and can't raise her eyebrows, that you said.
Aye. So I remember it's back in the day, right? And I watched on. Oh, that looks funny. Got there and I went, well, that was all the funny bits. The rest
Yeah.
of it was just, because I'm never watching Barry Norman again, and I didn't. I've had a chip on my shoulder about it ever since. So I don't watch. I generally don't watch trailers either because they're a marketing exercise. Well, here's some of the bits. Look, and that's it. Yeah, but you're going to ruin it.
Yeah.
You're going to ruin. I'd rather read a synopsis and know what it's about, and then there's no spoilers. Then go, Goldie Hawn. See,
That's it.
Michael always knows these little bits. He's
Well, Ray's just messaged us. He said, "How do you comment on this, lol?" And he said he put Goldie Hawk. He's obviously got his spelling wrong.
well if he clicks on. Yeah, I think he's already a subscriber.
Yeah.
So as long as he's on if he looks for the live chat, he can just start chatting in it. If he's opens it in a browser or opens it on his phone, you can open up the chat on your phone.
Are you able to screenshot it and put it in your with the circle on it where you do it, or something like that?
Well, if he opens it, is he on his computer or is he on his phone? I mean, if he opens his phone,
I don't know.
there's usually a little chat window at the bottom. You can click the pop-out chat. There should be a button on there for pop-out chat.
Yeah.
And then you can just start typing. Although it's better it's better on a tablet or a PC, or easier rather, just to jump in the chat there.
I've got a couple more. So do you want to do another one? I've got some good ones. I'm biased though.
What's the best thing about
He's on the
Switzerland
iPad.
wanting to join? He's on the iPad.
Yeah.
So he's in the app. Then I'm sure the app See, I always use a browser. I think the app has a little chat window in it, and you
Yeah.
can go into the chat window only. But I'm sure there's a button to pop it out. I haven't used it on the
Oh, Michael's
iPad
saying
in
scroll
ages.
down. Something, scroll down.
Scroll down. It should be down. Yeah. So,
Mm.
what's
What?
the best thing about Switzerland wanting to join NATO?
Something about the
I, d-
cross.
I don't know, but its flag's a big plus.
Hey, that's it. Got it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Woo!
Ever wondered why bread is just like the sun? It rises in the
Yeah.
yeast and settles in the waste.
50-50 that one.
50
Fitty
50.
fitty.
50 50.
Aye.
50 50. 50 50.
What do you call a vegetarian trans man?
Uh,
A herbivore.
her before.
Herbivore.
Yeah,
Aye. Instead of a herbivore.
like
Oh,
it.
I like a play on words. So I'll put that in. But I like that.
So I went to the doctor's the other day, and I dropped my trousers, and I showed the doctor that I had a bit of lettuce hanging from my arsehole, and he went, "That looks nasty." And what did I say?
It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Boom!
Hey!
Yeah!
Ooh! Oh!
Yeah.
My trans jokes aren't funny, but they identify as funny.
Wee.
Me. Funny enough, that should have been funnier. Ironically,
Yeah.
wasn't though.
You're gonna like this one. So this is a dyslexia joke because we're like having fun with my dyslexia, don't we? So my dyslexia frustrates me. You mix up two letters and your whole email is urined.
It's good. Like that. That's
I
good.
like that
I've
one.
heard that one. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that one before. I used to work with someone.
Yeah.
I used to work with somebody back in the day. He was quite heavily dyslexic, but he was a programmer, and you can imagine. You imagine programming. You've got to get all the script perfectly,
Yeah.
otherwise it breaks, right? So I asked him.
Yeah.
I thought I was being funny. I said, "Why is it so hard to spell dyslexia?" He went, "Maybe the word was invented by someone with dyslexia." I was like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Is
Yeah.
that why it's got a Y instead of an I? Ooh, that's funny. It's funny, yeah."
So
Anyway,
Ray's in the house now. He's in. I'm in.
Ray.
So the actors of the bishop.
The legend that is Ray.
He's full of jokes. Well, Ray, wait till he gets started. What does the Sixth Sense and the Titanic have in common? Just while we're on a film theme.
What does
The Sixth Sense and Titanic have in common? I see dead people.
I see dead people? I see dead people.
I see dead people.
What did Cinderella do when she got to the ball? She choked.
I was close on that one. I was close to getting that one.
Well, it depends which region you're in, because if you're in the US, it's she gagged. If you're over here, she choked.
Yeah, I actually had that one on. Is it? Have I got that one on? It was about the blind circumciser. He,
Circumcised.
yeah, the blind circumciser got fired. He got the sack.
That was it. That was it.
I've had to
That was
rethink that one because I forgot to write it down. Any more?
How many perverts does it take to screw in a light bulb? Just the one, but a whole emergency room to get it back out.
Whole emergency room.
Whole bumhole.
And
You don't hear
Like
that very
it.
often, do you? You hear arsehole quite a bit. You never hear something. Bumhole. That's in
Yeah.
school.
police came to my house yesterday and asked where I was between 3 and 5, and I went nursery.
Well, we moved here in 19. There's this one. My brother says you shouldn't tell that one. I'm like, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's where we differ, because you love a bit of controversy and I'm really safe on that in terms of subject matter.
it's the other way around. You're the one that told all the controversial ones, and it was me going, shouldn't say that. Shouldn't say that. And you're like, where's all my jokes? You've cut them all out. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you can't do that accent on the internet. No one cares. I bet you somebody to put it on. Nah, no one cares.
What me
No one
music
did.
from last week that got cut? What? Well, it is good.
Oh, that's because it was right in the middle of when we were chuntering on about something else. So I thought, well, I was like, soz, I'm going to have to. Otherwise, I just put that disjointed bit in on its own, but I needed to cut the bit that was before and after. I got it down to 3/4 of an hour instead of, what was it, originally an hour and 2 minutes or something. Anyway, he was like, can you say that one? Can you say that? You shouldn't say that. I was like, well, I said, it's been around for years, man. And he was like, nah. So look, I have a lot of respect for trans women. That surgery takes balls.
Hey.
Hey! What?
Yeah.
Gets a wiggle, that one.
I did write it down.
Gets a wiggle.
This is my last one. I hate snakes and worms because they have no feet. You could say, I'm lactose intolerant.
Lactose.
I'm lactose
You
intolerant.
I'm finding some of your jokes are just sometimes they require a little bit of a leap.
Yeah.
You
A little
know,
bit.
like I'm sort of going. I get it, but I had to think about it.
I was telling you, because I had 5 Americans on the bus yesterday, and I was talking to them about English comedy, and we were talking about play on words and sarcasm, and that probably just about sums my jokes and my life up, you know.
And it's something you don't get a lot of over the pond, is it?
No.
Sarcasm, I've found on some TV shows, when they do sarcasm over there, it's hard to distinguish between trying to be offensive or insulting someone and just being sarcastic. There's an art. There's an art, and if you don't do it all the time like we do it over here, there's an art to it. And I'm not saying they can't, but there is an art to that sort of thing. One thing I was surprised with, when we were in Germany,
Yeah.
was we got to know quite a few of the guys over there, and I was surprised to find that one of their favourite comedies was Black Books.
What's that?
Yeah, with Bill Bailey and Dil Moran running a bookshop, and that there's loads of sarcasm, and it's a little bit slapstick in that as well. I just thought, really, all of my preconceived notions about Germans and Germany went out the window. Mind you, I was hoping they would, but there's no stereotypes there. I went across and went, nah, none of this fits. None of this fits. I've had a proper laugh, although there did seem to be a difference between East and West, in personality types. I found most of the people I got on well with were from sort of further east.
We could apply a bit of pressure to 2 of our most avid followers, couldn't we? Because you mentioned we've got 3 guests lined up now, haven't we? Coming up in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
And we could force the issue here on while they're both watching and say,
You're coming on?
Forward.
Coming on?
Yeah. And pick a subject. Michael's I wouldn't put words in Michael's mouth, but it could be, what's it like living in Thailand? Something as simple as that. Ray's could be, what's it like being a bus driver in Newcastle city centre? Probably pretty tough,
Not sure. Oof. Eh?
Yeah.
Wow. Newcastle city centre.
Yeah.
That's got to be as tricky as being a taxi driver.
So we've got 3 subjects lined up, haven't we? We've got one which is about. Are we allowed to say them or not?
Yeah. So it's getting close at the time, isn't it? We've got Kelsey coming in.
I wasn't going to mention her name.
Wait, I've mentioned it before.
Yeah.
We've got Kelsey coming in, and she wants to talk about the difference between women dating older and younger men versus men dating older and younger women, and seeing if there's the difference in the perception and you know how it's seen that from the woman's perspective and the men's perspective. You know that a man, you know, you've got gold diggers on one side and toy boys on the other, and there is a difference in perspective. So she wants to, because she's got a preference for older men, although she's obviously hasn't exclusively been that way. So she's got plenty of perspectives on it, right? So, and I think you have as well. You've dated older women as well, haven't you? In the past.
Yeah, I did the two extremes. So I did one that was, said one. I did one. I did one that was 13 years older than me, and my second wife was basically 10 years younger than me. So I did the two. And
It's quite a range, that, isn't it? 23 years.
yeah, you know,
It's quite a way to
something
go.
about variety and the spice of life.
Aye. Aye. So as that Anne wants to come on, she's a coach. She runs a consultancy around these parts, helps new businesses get started, small businesses get going. She helps them recruit, do interviews. She helps them with HR tasks and helps them write business plans. She does all sorts. She can basically help you get a business started, show you how to run it, show you how to expand it, and when not to. She's good at it. So, and she's like you. She has a history of coaching and going into coaching qualifications and whatnot. So, I thought, oh, you two chatting, that'd be interesting. Chatting about coaching things. So she's coming, and then you've got one lined up. Oh, she wanted to talk about women in the workplace and the changing roles and perceptions.
So it was more about being a Gen Y in the modern era. So Generation Y, so somebody in their 20s in this current world, what it's like being in that world.
Oh no, I mean this is what Anne wanted to talk about was women in the workplace and
women in the workplace,
how that's changed the roles. And I'd be interested to hear her take on it, because you hear it on the news and it still sounds like doom.
It will, because you sort of get into, you know, we're both followers of Jordan Peterson, aren't we? So, you know, 99% of bricklayers are
blokes, right? So, and then of course there is a live example of an egalitarian society where over in Switzerland where people can be whatever they want to be. And what's happened? Men have gone towards all the nerdy stuff, the sciences, the STEM fields, you know, mathematics, electronics, engineering, all of that stuff. Women have gone more towards medical care, anything to do with people interactions and all of that. And they've split, if anything, making a society where, we will support you, whatever it is you fancy doing. There's a way of doing it. It's actually pushed them further apart, because women are like, I prefer this. Obviously, you will always have exceptions to rules, right? You're always going to have female nerds who want to go and do a bit of programming, engineering. You're going to have men who love to work with people and male nurses and all that kind of stuff. So there's always going to be a crossover. But we're not talking about the crossover. We're talking about the bulk of people. There is a noticeable split. In the statistics.
There's a big gap.
It's a big gap. Yeah, so it's fascinating, and I'm interested to know what how she's finding it, because there's all sorts of stuff in the news, like how you're expected to be, expectations, and of course perspectives on challenges. Yeah. And maybe even some of this. She's got all of that stuff to look forward to. Is she going to or been to uni?
I don't know. Oh, who are we talking about now?
Your guest.
Oh, my guest. No. No, doing some bits at college.
Because college and uni is a different prospect these days, and what they fill your head with, and it seems very left leaning these days as well. And when it really should be down the centre, it should be open minded, and should be there to be challenged.
It was interesting you mentioning that, because I was at the local college today, this morning, and the college are branching out and using consultants as a way of creating business income. So they find clients for you, and they take a cut, and then you go and do the work with the clients. So that's something I'm
Nice.
starting to get involved with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know, I was thinking about next week's episode, right?
Yeah.
And I had one idea then after watching the news and the stuff we've spoken about lately. I suggested another, which was we should do, not the 10 o'clock news and actually do go in, like, we'll research a couple of headlines each, bring some positive stories in and run it. Like, and say, well, this is, I'll read out 4 headlines at the start. Actually cover some stuff that's happened that isn't on the news. But if everyone knew about it, we'd be interested. Like, oh, I didn't know. Or somebody's gone and done that. Oh, that's fascinating. Why hasn't anybody said out? Stuff like that. So, but then I thought, when you asked me about, what sort of episode would make me uncomfortable, and we got talking about doing an episode on autism, and I went, hold on a minute. I've kind of got after 40 odd years, I've got a sort of a grip on it. And I understand it. I accept it. I don't rely on it. If anything, I try and hide it. Whereas, you said you rely on or use your dyslexia as a crutch. I thought, well, shouldn't we have an episode where we hold you to it? Set up a project and talk what you're going to do, and maybe bits that we've noticed and things that you maybe are going to fix or patch over or figure out, or a strategy. So we'll have a strategy episode on it.
Like it. Yeah.
And I can give you some of the bits and pieces of self-analysis that I put in place to catch when I have a weird habit or some thing that I'm like, no, I need to clean that up. So we'll maybe 16.
Yeah.
16 we can do that, and around about then we'll be starting to get some guests in, so that'll be back end of this month. Recording on the 28th, so it'll be 31st or the 1st, I can't remember. Is it May?
Yeah.
Is there 30 days in May? April?
30 days of September, June, November, all the rest have 31 except February.
So it'll be recording on the 28th of this month, and then it'll be the 1st of May, that Monday that I put that first guest out. And then it'll be, I think, Anne the week after, and then you are setting the date for yours, weren't you?
Yeah, I think we just want to be careful that we're not doing too much in a go. I mean, I think we mentioned originally about 1 per month.
I've stacked those 2 together. You were going to say, you said about the following month, didn't you, for yours?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't agreed a date. She just said she would do it, but if we
June.
sort of, yeah, got Peter here.
No, you're right. We shouldn't just. Yeah, I just thought, well, these 2 are always busy, and I got a couple of dates. I went, right, well, I'll take them because I might not get them. So I'll take them, put them together. Why not? That's our little opener. See how it goes. Warm up to the idea of doing it and interviewing someone, and then see how it goes from there.
When are we recording next? We talked about.
I don't know. I guess if we're gonna put one out next week, we should be recording on this Friday, shouldn't we? But
in theory, this counts as an episode, doesn't it? Because you could just.
Well, it does, but it covers. We didn't put one out on Monday, so if we don't record another one this week, there won't be one out next Monday either. But then it is the holidays. Don't say hollybobs. Who says hollybobs? I'm going on my hollybobs. Yeah. Me and you are never going to be friends, hollybobs. No.
We did talk about Sunday potentially, but it's just...
Could do that.
Yeah, I will be back on Saturday night, and it's just getting the groundwork done.
Sunday evening, yeah. And then the edits just... It can be a bit of a knob doing that overnight. Well, let's see if I can... Well, let's at least record it on Sunday.
Yeah.
And if I have to, I can always put it out on a Tuesday because I rushed the edit last time and I ended up with a load of mistakes, having to re-upload it. And with my naff Sky internet connection, it takes an absolute age to get that back onto YouTube and Spotify, because they're both video episodes and they're like 3 or 4 gigabytes, so it takes ages on this connection. So we could at least record it on the Sunday, and at worst I can put it out on Tuesday instead of Monday if I can't get the edit done in time, rather than sort of wrestling with it overnight to get it done.
Yeah, so if we move towards sort of Sunday afternoon-ish, I'll probably have a bit of time to prep.
Your Ray hasn't responded whether he's going to come on the show.
No, there's Michael. I mean, they might not be there now.
Yeah, there's 5 people on at the minute, so not as much tumbleweed as we expected.
Yeah, it was pretty
But
good.
the average view duration so far is 25 minutes. And we've had 11 distinct viewers. I mean, that's not too shabby.
No,
I guess it's
for
certainly...
number 1. And we're just over an hour and a quarter, so probably
Yeah,
good time to do your wrap up.
It was a good start. Live was basically to try and attract some traffic because it's a trending thing. Well, it's something we've got to do, something everybody does, at least one of, it seems. And I thought, well, it might bring people in. Maybe we can do Facebook next time instead. Do a Facebook live stream, give that a try.
Yeah, like that.
And see how that works. It might work better for most people as well. And of course, a Facebook live stream might be a simpler thing than this. So yes, we'll record on Sunday, and we will do. What did I say? What we're going to do next week? The news.
Yeah, I think Sunday we're going to good news stories, and then the following week we're going to do. We'll probably do a project piece of work.
Literally just said it. I was just. It's distracting reading the chat. Michael, with his perfect typing as usual. I thought I would let your silly tones to continue without interruption. What?
Is he? He's spelling it like I would spell it.
What with? Silky. Ah, right. You listen to our silky tones without interruption.
Right. Yes. It's like listening to an episode of reading children's books with Tom Hardy.
You must have enjoyed the Midnight Gadgies last week.
You know how the ladies love to listen to a bit of Tom Hardy.
I tell you what, we've had 11 viewers. No one's clicked the like button yet.
Oh, good lord! No,
we're not going anywhere until somebody clicks the like button. Oh, aye. There's a bit of a chat delay. Aye.
My mother's. Come on. I enjoyed the live stream, but not a subscriber. Mother.
She's not a subscriber. She's one of the biggest fans on Facebook as well.
So
she's always participating.
It's a YouTube thing, innit? It's like, something we don't know.
Aye, and you don't have to be you don't have to have a YouTube account to watch either. It's all public. Michael says it's coming in my ears. Well, there's worse places.
You got to be careful now, Mike. On my mother's on, I keep getting wrong from me swearing and me innuendos.
Oh, she tell you off for the innuendos as well, does she?
No, just the swearing. I've actually done really well today, haven't I? I don't think I've sweared.
Swore.
Or sworn, whichever you prefer.
There's a few. There was a few. There was the odd S word.
Yeah, was it? Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Michael's clicked the like button.
Was he?
And Ray's asking where the like button is. It should be just under the video. Sorry, you can always find it. You don't have to like it now.
Oh, right,
I would encourage you to.
Yeah, because below the live stream I'm looking at now, you've got subscribe and you can drop that down. You've got thumbs up and thumbs down and share and save. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, should we wrap up?
Yeah, I've already clicked like myself, as I do. Right, so 15 next week. Not the 10 o'clock news. And I'll let you know whether it's going to be out Monday or Tuesday once we've got the record done. And then other than that, click the likey bits, the subscribey bits, and I will download this and then upload the audio onto Apple and Spotify for anyone who hasn't been on here, like Sarah. She always listens to it through Apple. Ooh, look at that. There's three likes. 7 viewers. Mint. I'm happy. I think we'll call it a success.
Interesting, Michael can see 3 likes. I can only see 2 on my screen.
There's 2, but I think it might discount me. It seems to take ages for my lick.
I love that bit.
It takes ages for my lick to come through.
Come on. This is how data oriented you're. Come on, let's talk about the time that we decided we had to have this episode and your voting system.
I put a poll out.
Yes, and so you said it's quite clear, categorically clear what time we have to have the episode, and I said, "Oh, what time is it?" And you said 3 o'clock, and I went, "Right." Discounting you, how many votes did we get?
No, I said 4. I said 4 o'clock, and you said discounting you. I said, well, then it's around about 3 o'clock. I said, well, and then you were like, well, let's just, there's only 3 votes. Let's just go for 2 o'clock anyway. And I was like, well. I said, well, then what was the point in the poll if we're just going to do 2 o'clock anyway? So I took one of my votes out and I picked one, right? And then it went on an equal split between 3 and 4. And I thought, well, by the time we get started, we might as well do 3. We'll crack on. We'll probably go into sort of 4 o'clock or whatever afterwards. So people are going to jump in. 3 o'clock will be fine. It's been fine, hasn't it? 3 o'clock? It's fine. It's been an hour and 22. Jesus.
Yeah, right. I need something to eat.
Yeah, me too. I've had out. I've defrosted myself a little baton as well, so I'm kind of the rippy bread, the kind of rippy. So I love rippy bread. So click all the bits. It'll be available on the other places by the weekend. By the time I get it downloaded and uploaded. Other than that, thanks for coming along. And if you're watching this back later, you can wind it back at the start. It'll keep your place. It's good stuff. So we'll catch you next week. Take care.